Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Shirt, man! All right! Episode 140 of Shirt Show. We're talking with Garrett from Printshop in Colorado. Let's go!
Hey.
Hey there, cutie. Long time no see.
Dude, yeah, like busy day. We've got this. Talking.
We have a busy day, not print.
Print? You mean what do
You mean
like,
the shop's not busy? Me and you are busy.
I mean, a little bit of both. A little bit of both. Yeah, it's not like it's crazy busy.
It's like fucking
Printing
here.
wise. I wouldn't call it crickets. There might be one cricket, just one.
Mm-hmm.
Not like a lot. I think that
Some hard bippage.
there's a little bippage. I think we've been kind of hearing that across the industry.
Yep.
Most people say they're in the 20 to 30% range.
It's actually this week it started to kind of creep up, which I'm happy for. Like, I hope that's a continuing trend. But all of January was a fucking bip fest.
Yeah, super bit fast. Let me say this. In my infinite wisdom, I will tell you this, okay?
Yep.
My experience, whenever there is a prolonged bip, it is followed by a surge of orders.
Oh, hopefully.
Like a flood of love comes your way. And you just bask in the glory of shirts. And so mark my words, you watch. Wait about another week or something, weather's going to get a little warmer. And then here comes the orders. I was going to ask you, do you play chess?
No.
You heard of it? You ever heard of it?
I know the game. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I know of the game.
Do you think it's too late for me to become a grandmaster? I've never,
No.
I play chess a little
It's
bit.
never
but
too late to do anything.
I like that. That's one of my favorite things. Besides your big heart, your
Enlarged,
generosity.
like it's actually dangerous.
Besides that, I love that you have that glass half full.
Yeah, it's
that's what
just
it is.
crusting. It's about to overflow.
Mhm.
That's how.
Yeah.
full I
So,
am.
because I've just recently, I just came across a YouTube video of some girl playing chess, and her parents no joke, like don't make any jokes. This is real talk. Like her mom was a grandmaster, like world champion or whatever that is, the highest level, and her dad was also, and she's like the prodigy child. And now she goes around and plays people, like on the street and stuff. And it's really fun. She's like, it's fun to watch. Anyway, I was like inspired. I'm like, I want to be a grandmaster. And do you know, this is still not joking. That St. Louis is the world headquarters for chess.
For boring people.
Shut the fuck up. Like I'm trying to be real for a minute.
Me too.
Why did you say boring people do you think chess is boring?
No, I think that people that fucking are grandmasters at chess are not exciting human beings.
Okay. Well, then I take everything back that I said about you. Nice. But I was thinking of becoming a grandmaster. So I have this computer. I have this chess online thing that it's teaching me the moves.
I'm proud of you. I mean, I'm happy I'll root you on so fucking hard. If you ever have like a live event where you're playing somebody, I will be in the stands fucking screaming at the top of my lungs.
Yeah. We're going to make chess like a whole different level. Like it's going to be a different sort of party.
I lose my shit when I go to like events like that. Just so you know.
Okay.
There's a story here where I fucking blacked out and was screaming fucking killing at the top of my lungs. So
I love that. Okay, well, I'm stoked. So watch out, guys. Look for me at the next chess tournament. How was steak night, by the way?
it was great to get back into it because it's been a while, because it's been like travel and stuff where I haven't been here for a couple Thursdays in a row. But we tried this new restaurant last night and it was pretty bland.
Like, you didn't go to Roadhouse?
We didn't go to Roadhouse. I didn't get the steaks. We ended up going to this place, Copper Top. And I've never been there. And I was like, oh, cool. I'll get this like roasted pork sandwich. And it was just like had any flavor. And then we went and saw Knock at the Cabin Door, or Knock of the Cabin.
Yeah, what did
whatever
you
it's called.
say that there was somebody's wearing a T-shirt that was like wasn't registered?
Yeah,
or
dude.
something?
Yeah, this is what I said in our group chat afterwards. Is like one of the main characters. If you watch this movie, one of the main characters is wearing like a gray T-shirt, and the red is like super out of registration.
On purpose.
No, I fucking hope. Well, yeah.
How could you tell it was out of registration? I mean,
There's a shitload of white poking out.
oh, like the underbase, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, it's distracting. Like you couldn't.
Yeah, it ruined the whole movie for me because every time I was watching that character, I was looking at his shitty shirt.
Yeah, so when they ask you to review that movie, you're like thumbs fucking down.
Yeah,
you know that's it. I couldn't even.
Couldn't do it. Yeah.
You couldn't.
The funny thing is that the people I go with are my friends, but we're also printers, and we are all looking at each other like, "You see that shirt's out of registration."
Right.
So, but yeah, that movie was a solid 4 out of 10.
Is that the one 4 out of 10? Is that the one where they have to kill somebody to save the world?
Yes.
Like not good. Like too.
I would say if you're bored as fuck and you have a high fever and you're laying in bed and you have nothing else to watch, give it a watch.
I was waiting for you to say all of those things, like laying in bed, high fever, and playing chess.
I'm playing chess, right?
Yeah. Then
Bill did make a good point. Dave Bautista in that movie acted really, really well. Like if you want to if you like him and want to see him act,
I do like him.
He did an amazing job.
Like he's taking on more serious roles or something, I guess. Not just, superhero or whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool.
No, the acting was good. The movie was good in the sense of like it did what it was supposed to.
Entertained you.
M. Night Shyamalan's supposed to have all these like crazy twists and stuff, like all his movies. There's just no. Here's
the thing about M. Night, Mr. M. Night, is that Sixth Sense came out. Set the bar way too fucking high, and never hit it again. Never even came close. Sorry, that's the way it goes. Sometimes out of the gate, that's your best. Wouldn't that suck if like that was your career? It's like, hey, here's my movie, and then you never lived up.
He's got some other good movies. Unbreakable.
But not like, no, not as good as Sixth Sense. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, and nothing's gonna be Sixth Sense, but
no. There was the other movie where they were like living on the farm, and
that was horrible.
You escaped to the other side of the road or whatever, and it was current times.
Yeah,
what was that called? Like something or whatever.
I can't fucking remember what it was called, but it's stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
You got a dad joke. Yeah, I'm bringing dad jokes back. We're doing this.
All right.
I'm hoping 2023. I want to get back into like some things. Like I'm happy to sit down in my chair. We're not running around trying to crazily do things.
I was listening to Stephen and Bruce's podcast, and Stephen said he wants to be more. Oh, they were saying, did you make some New Year's resolutions? And how did he put it? He wants to be more, is it stabilized or something like that? And what he meant by that is he's been running around all over the place.
Yeah, I fully agree with that.
And he wants to be a little more grounded at his roots. And I'm, you know what? I'm the same way. So I just want to stay home and lay on my floor.
And play chess. My boss asked me why I only get sick on work days. I said it must be my weekend immune system. half the workforce right now.
Yeah, dude, that's a true story, Dad joke. True, yes. Not a joke. That's not a joke.
That's just sad. Yeah, I'm sorry I said it.
You said a fact.
Yeah.
That is right, D. It all starts with the screen, and whether it is new stretches or restretches, Frank and his team do it the best. To find out more, go to graphicscreenfashion.com, FFFFF.
Rank.com.
Or
greatfuckingscreens.com.
Cleaning screens is no fun, but Easy Way makes it funner. Their line of eco-friendly chemicals will make reclaiming screens a whole lot easier. Check them out at easyway.com. Easy Way.
It's the easiest way.
Man, if you or your art department could use some love, then you need to go to 1-900-HOTStuff.com and get in touch with Nick or Lucas.
Nick or Lucas. Sexy boys.
At Graphics Source, and make them your source for production-ready digital art and remote art staffing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's super pro right there.
The greatest. Yes.
We use them every day. Next, choosing the right emulsion for your shop is complicated, and that's why we love Chromaline. Go to chromaline.com to watch Kev's vids.
Kev's vids.
Or contact him on Instagram, the Emulsion Guru, and get the answers you need. Because why? Because it all starts there. We just said that.
Yep.
What starts there? What is all? When I said all.
Screens.
Screens.
All starts with a screen.
In the screen room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
So,
I noticed this last time we recorded too, and just now, that
Sun.
there's this like fucking sunbeam hitting you right in the forehead.
yeah, it's because we're recording at the
I think
AM
it's just
crazy.
the Lord's touch.
Yeah. It's pretty much it. It's just going to be that way because right now, see this? The sun goes like this.
It does. It
I
moves.
don't know if you know this, but it rises in the east and then it sets over here. Okay.
Right.
And then we're here in the morning, which like we're never here this early. It's just rare. And it's beaming through. I have cardboard on my windows right now. It's beaming through. I can't. So I got to lean back.
That's cool.
There you go. I think that's it. So today we are shooting the shit. You like that? I did that for you.
Yeah, it's good. Thanks, man.
With Garrett Danielson from Pine Printshop in Fort Collins, Colorado. And we're late. Whoa, there's that sun. Whoa. Can't avoid it. You ready? Let's you ready to do this? Did you stretch? Are we recording?
I didn't stretch actually. That's something I need to do more of, obviously, because we're both fucking falling apart. Oh yeah. Oh. Feels good, yeah.
I hope we're recording. We are. Check.
Garrett. I hope his mic doesn't work.
Oh,
look at that
check
backdrop. He fixed it up.
I told you I was going to.
Did you bring all of that from the shop to home? Is that what you did?
That's all in your garage right now?
Yeah, my garage is our new ink lab.
Holy shit.
Right?
I mean, that seems like inconvenient as fuck, but
it looks cool though.
That's true.
When I get invited on podcasts, it looks really
that
cool.
Internet fame, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I get it. That clout.
It looks like
you guys.
We're doing well. We just talked about how our backs are. Do you have any back issues, by the way? Are you good?
I'm good, man. Thank you for asking.
You're limber.
I try to stretch every day.
Show us.
You really want to see? What's going on with your backs?
It's fucking destroyed. My whole body's a piece of shit. I'm just gonna sit. I'm gonna get one of those beds that just sits up, and then I'm just gonna pull my computer out and just do shit, and then I'm just gonna lay back down.
Like the electric, you can adjust it. Yeah.
Just a hospital bed.
Yeah, just might as well. Fuck it. So what's going on? What's going on with you, man? How's your week? How's your day?
This week is good. Just talking shirts, man. Which one of you guys does the intro music?
Chad.
Yeah, that's Chad. From.
Yeah.
That was from episode like 1. That song. When he came up with it, he sent it to us and was like, "What do you think?" And we're like,
"Yep,
nailed it." Like that's
awesome.
The one. There it is. Dylan, I think, listened to it like on loop in his car.
I did.
So Chad records a new one for every episode. Shout out to Chad.
Yeah, he does.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
The best part is he's probably just like home and tired and doesn't want to do anything, and then he has to go in and just scream, "Let's go." So
I was hoping you were going to say it was you, Andy.
That'd be amazing.
No,
we should just get Andy to do one of them.
It would be fun. I'm down. Could give it a try.
Okay.
I'm looking at your inks and I'm thinking that they are very similar to our jars, only half the size. Are they short? Like not full quarts?
Or he has wider.
They're like
it's the same size.
4.5 inches tall. No.
Nope. Those are half quarts. Those are the old half quarters.
So we mix them in batches of like 700 grams.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we do 1,400 over here.
Whoa, big shot.
I'm just,
Mhm.
Lots
I
of
have no
ink.
idea.
He's got
I have
more
no
than
idea.
enough ink to go around.
That wasn't a flex. I was just saying.
What kind of scale do you use? We've got a scale that we kind of push up again. 1,000 grams is the limit to go down to 2 decimal places. So that's kind of been our limitation. And we print all water-based. So a lot of the time we're mixing ink for the job. Like we build a lot of inks specific to the job and are mixing in smaller quantities.
That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, with Plastisol, don't you generally need more ink with Plastisol than water base? Is that true?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that. I honestly don't have that much experience with Plastisol. When I first started printing, I was printing with Plastisol, and then I worked in a big shop. Actually, I was listening to the episode with Jeffrey Paul, and I think that I worked in the shop that his family sold. I went to school in Waco, Texas, and when I was in college, I was working in a screen print shop, and it was called QTI Promotions, and they had recently been acquired by a promotional product supplier, which kind of lined up with his story. So I think I worked in that shop that his family started, but printed Plastisol there. And for the first couple of years when I kind of struck out on my own, and since I don't know, when we went all water base, my knowledge of Plastisol was severely limited.
We've talked about this a bunch of times, and we don't have to get super into it. But why did you go straight water base instead?
Well, it was probably around 2015 or 16. I had I guess a bit of an existential crisis about just like the toxicity of our industry, the waste of the industry. And at the time that kind of seemed like maybe this is a way to move the needle in a different direction. And I think once we got into it, I think it's a lot of the time it's a superior product. I like the feel of it better. I think it's also just, I think it's awesome. More and more printers are picking it up and it's becoming more common. But for a long time, it was also a great niche or like distinguishing factor that a lot of our at least local competitors weren't doing.
Yeah, so, I think that's the biggest part of it, honestly, is like, I mean, for a while there, it was like super, this is the green way to print. And it's not necessarily the case. I just feel like it's a good advantage because, like you said, it does have a great print, a good hand. And then if you just promote the shit out of that, you're doing that kind of printing, you're going to have the upper hand over most people around you.
Totally.
Or
I think it has made us better printers overall. I mean, it's no secret that it's a lot harder. It's less forgiving than water-based. So it's really pushed us as printers and forced us to really dial in things in other places. And ultimately, I think made us a better business and better craftspeople at what we do. But I think not having solvents and chemicals for cleanup is nice.
Yeah, that's an awesome part of it.
But to be honest, man, like I grew my business a lot with printing water-based. So I don't know at this point, like I'm not super familiar with the alternative and everything that goes into it. We just kind of doubled down and committed and went for it.
But you're happy and your customers are happy. So
totally.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, totally.
3 things or 2 things or whatever. I just tried to fix that beam of light that was hitting me and blinding me. And when I did, I stood up and I started to put this cardboard over there. And then my headphone, my earbud, is that what they're called? Yeah. Fell into the trash can. So that's cool. And then third thing is I could hear you. So I heard all that stuff. So I wasn't like, sorry if I was being rude because I was doing that. But yeah, I was listening. I was listening. It was good. Yeah. Well, I think we're off to a better start than the first time we tried this because, Dylan was.
Yeah, we did try to did try to record this like a month and a half ago, something like that.
Yeah, right before the holidays.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dylan was on the brink of death. It was
Yeah. I had super
we were in
high
a hard
fever.
place.
It was rough. And we had some technical difficulties, which got me out of it. So it was wonderful.
Here we are.
Worked
I'm
out.
glad we could put it together.
Yeah.
It was fate.
It's better now.
It
It's going
is.
to be a better episode for it.
And all the ink is in my garage now.
Right.
so
You moved
we're-
all that ink over. It's so good.
So I was listening to Printavo podcast, and Bruce said this word that made me laugh out loud because he was talking to Brant at Graphic Disorder, and he used the word niching. And I've never heard that word before, but Brant he has a niche of, he does car shirts, like 99%. He does that. That's his thing. And, the idea of having a niche is really good. Like I wouldn't say that we have that. Dylan, you do a little bit. I mean, I think that some of your customers are a certain niche, because once you're niching,
Well, it gives you a target. It gives you purpose. It gives you direction with your marketing. If you just willy-nilly everything, you're going to be all over the place, and you're not known for anything.
yeah, I think that if you have this niche like Graphic Disorder, and just like you said, you're known for that, then you can charge a premium. You can that's your thing. You're an expert at that thing, and so people come to you for that. And I think that's really smart. And so I want to do a little more niching over here.
Well, it's like the whole point of that episode was to, or the tagline on the episode is that they were booked up 4 months.
Right.
At least with artwork, because when I went and hung out with Brant and his team, to me, the takeaway from the whole experience was that they're a art company first. Like they're like Brant and his wife and multiple people there they live and breathe that culture, that car culture.
They're car guys.
Like,
they know
they're car people. Yeah, yeah. And I would not ride with Brant because I'd fear for my life, and I would throw up in his very, very nice car. But yeah, their whole thing is like you go upstairs in their shop, and it's like this fucking art department of like huge, beautiful screens, like the Wacom tablets, and like they're focusing on making like that amazing car art. And then they just screen print. So I feel like for them, it's like the customer. We usually say customer service first, printing second. To them, it's like the customer service and art first, and then screen printing is like a byproduct.
That's cool.
So,
Dylan, what would you call? How would you describe your niche?
Well, ours is transformed over the years. Like originally, it was bands, and like I just feel like we've always focused on what we're good at the time, and you evolve and change as a company. So like it changes all the time. And now I feel like we have like 4, like, I feel like we have 4 that like we are really, really good at. And like one of them is one that like almost everybody does, which is like breweries. So we do like a lot of breweries, but we focus a lot of energy on like what products are best for this market. And then we have like a customer service person that just basically their target for when they do outreach is breweries. And then someone else is doing, like the designers and the like the movie t-shirts and the comic book stuff and stuff like that. We do a lot of. And then the other big one for us is like the builders, the tradespeople. Like we do a shitload of that. So it's like, I don't think the whole shop necessarily has to be targeted on one specific niche. Like, yeah, you could obviously, but it's nice to have just like dedicated staff to a certain niche so that they can know what they're talking about when they talk to those people.
Do you think
100%.
that there's is there such thing as multi-niche?
What was Bruce's word?
Niching.
Niching? Yeah, we're niching so hard over here.
Pretty sure you made that up.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the time those niches overlap, right? Like the competencies of one, because ultimately I think a lot of our industry is selling, a lot of people selling merch. That's not their primary source of income. So like a brewery or a coffee roaster or somebody may sell merch on the side of it's a secondary source of income to what their actual business is. So a lot of the time, I think a lot of those customers' needs are similar, and overlap a lot. So if you can be really competent at creating and find out what breweries really like and breweries really need, chances are you can take those same competencies and translate them to similar businesses. You guys brought in Kevin Baumgart this year, right?
Mm-hmm. Both of us did.
Has that been helpful for you guys? Have you started rolling those? Are you guys doing a lot of outbound now, or what's been the result of your time with him?
Do you want to go, Andy, or do you want me to go?
No, you go first.
I feel like I got into this. I've always been in the office. I've always been a sales guy, I guess, like the vision of stuff. And you kind of just teach yourself the common sense stuff where it's like, I'm into bands, so I'm going to go outreach to bands and I'm going to message them and be like, hey, we'd love to print your stuff because I saw you here and I loved your band and blah, blah, blah. And you make a relationship and you go that route. And then as an owner, you pull in another employee that's like, oh, let me teach you my ways. So it was like me and Chris for like the first 10 years, basically, was just like outreach in certain things we were into. And then it got to the point where, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years in or something, we just were so flooded with our emails every day that we were just turned into an inbound company where we did like zero outbound. And then you get so overwhelmed with that you hire a couple people to help, and then they're just inbound people. So like my reasoning for hiring Kevin was that my outbound strategy was dated. It was like 15 years old, basically. Like when I first started doing it, it was like MySpace and early days of like no rules on the internet and no like shutting you down after a certain amount of messages and all this other stuff. Nowadays it's a whole different ball game with like AdWords and like all this other fucking shit. And there's like a million apps and everything else. So my staff was all inbound people. So it got to the point where like over the last couple of years, we have super dialed in production to where we can handle way more work than we're bringing in. Like, not that we're not comfortable with the amount of work we have in. I just look at it as an owner. Like, I would like to make sure that we, if we have the capacity, why not do a little bit more and, keep us a little bit more busy. So I hired Kevin to be like, hey, like, I need you to basically treat us like children and start over and be like, hey, how do we navigate outbound in the world currently? So he kind of went through and helped us with scripting and helped us with like ways to get leads and the whole process. And Kevin's awesome. He's like smart as fuck. So, and his approach to the whole thing was really, really great to me because he wasn't one of those guys that was like, I figured out the method and I'm just going to cookie cutter, copy and paste your name into it, use my method. And if you don't use my method, go fuck yourself. Like, he was not that guy. He was like, hey, this is you. These are your words. This is your company. I'm just here to like see how you guys do it and how you would like to do it. And like, I'll show you like ways that I can help you improve. And like, let's cater this whole thing around you and make it yours. Because the thing is if it's not yours and not your words and your company feel, then it's not gonna be authentic. It's not gonna be, you guys won't stick with it. You know what I mean? Like, if it's the Kevin way, they're going to get bored of it in a month. Right. If it's the upstate way, then it's just that this is how we do things from here on out. So he was great. Like, I love Kevin, but the thing is too, is it's a process after he leaves. Like, we actually need to implement that and we need to figure out the best way to do the whole thing and add some automation tools and stuff. So it's been a couple months where we've just been busy with work and haven't fully been able to just like super dive into it. But now that it's January and it's slow, like, we're super all over it right now, where we're getting it dialed to where we can just add it to our business strategy and do it all year long.
That's the hardest part, isn't it? I think that's the hardest part with just about anything. Yeah, the execution of it, because you can have a consultant come in and say, you need to do X, Y, Z. And then, you clearly know what you need to do, but to set out and do it and then make those changes and implement it and have everybody buy in and all that kind of stuff. It seems like it's the hardest part. Yeah. For me, I think I have a split personality. I think that sometimes I find myself like maybe Andy, is just wants to, have a print shop, and whatever we have on the schedule, let's fucking print it, have some fun, and then go chill. And that's like half of me, half of the time, or maybe even more than half of the time. I'm like, it's whatever that, I'm happy. And then the more like business side of me, let's call that person Andrew, because Andy I have a name.
All Andrews are just so businessy.
They are way more sophisticated and smarter. Andy, I've got it. My mom gave me, well, my name is really Andrew, but everybody's called me Andy. And that's like a name of a little kid, even though I'm old. But so Andrew sounds, like
I would much rather hang out with Andy than Andrew all fucking day.
Likewise.
I hope he didn't.
Well, I don't know. Maybe turn on Andrew for a while. Let's see.
I've seen Andrew. Well, he's a fucking dick.
Yeah, he's an asshole. He's an asshole. But Andrew, he's all about like, hey, I need some data, man. Like, we got to hit our numbers. What's wrong? This shop sucks. Why don't you follow up? You send out a quote, and then what? Like, you just send it out. What's wrong with you? Like, you should follow up with that quote. There should be an automation. That's how easy is that, to have some software that just, boomerangs that quote back to you to say, hey, did the customer even open that email, that quote that you sent? And if they did, when did they do it? And it's been 48 hours. Did they convert and buy, like say they want the shirts? And if not, then should you call them and say, hey, why didn't you, what's up? Do you want these shirts or not? Always be closing. And so I think that, not that Kevin is like that at all. I think though that he helps you, sort of like what Dylan said, is he helps you write that script and understand and define little nuances about your quoting process. That's why we wanted him anyway to come in here and help us say, okay, well, how do we train people to become better customer success managers, let's say, and also recognize the quotes that we really want, so we sort of define that. We said, hey, anything over a certain dollar amount, we want to make sure we quote it differently, and not that we don't care about, smaller size orders or different size orders. It's just that, hey, this is a really important quote. We're sending it out. It's for $5,000. Shouldn't we just, instead of just randomly sending out a quote and wishing for the best, shouldn't we do a better job of that? And so that's why we brought him in.
Yeah. Shout out to Kevin, by the way. Now that we're talking about this, go to Instagram and go to Set Sales Co. Mm-hmm. Check him out. He's a smart ass dude. How do you do things at Pine?
So I'm actually just wrapping up with Kevin. I kicked stuff off with him at the end of last year, and it's so common. It seems to be so common in our industry that everything is inbound, and you just kind of take what comes to you. And if you do good work for long enough, that word of mouth builds and referrals build, and it's really easy to just. I mean, Andy, I can relate, because sometimes it feels like you get in a good groove and everything is running fine. And it's like, it's easy to kind of just kick back and chill. And then I have like a manic side to me of like, that really, this could be better, that could be better, and can get kind of obsessive. But I tend to go in spurts like that. And at the end of last year, we've been, much like everyone else in our industry, like largely 100% inbound, referral based. And I wanted to bring Kevin in to, I think when you're inbound, you kind of have to make the best of what comes to you. So if you have customers in a specific niche or a specific kind of customer, a lot of the time they're referring similar customers, which is great. But if you're 100% inbound, it's kind of on you to make the best of what business comes your way. And that's not always, maybe you have competencies that serve a different niche better. So right. For me, it was about like, what kind of customer can we serve the best? And, we're a small team. So how do we make sure over the years, man, I've said yes to too many things and learned that lesson the hard way of like, okay, these type of jobs are not good for this. It's just not our core competency. So how do we make sure that we're expending effort on the right things and hopefully if you're always sowing those seeds and building that pipeline, my other hope is we can kind of smooth out our seasonal, like the seasonal fluctuations of work, which are always there to some degree, but to make slow seasons a little bit busier. And then in busier seasons, maybe we can just focus more on the right type of jobs instead of taking everything that comes. So Kevin has been super helpful. I just, last month in January, I hired a full-time outside salesperson. And then just this week I onboarded, I'm doing a 60-day trial contract with like a lead generation guy. So he's focusing on, social media lead generation, and then optimizing our lead generation on website and SEO. And I'm kind of throwing everything at it to see what happens. I think,
is that a freelance guy that's already trained on that, or is that somebody you're hiring just to figure that out?
We'll kind of see how it goes. Like, whenever I hire people, I try to I always bring people in for like an initial interview. If it seems like a good fit, then we do a working interview where we bring them in for a day, pay them our base wage, and like see if they vibe with the team. But with this guy, it's kind of like, let's do a 60-day contract as a 1099, contractor, just a set amount of pay per week. And I think after 60 days, we should be able to see, like, is this worth it? Is this going to pay off? And from there, decide, okay, do we want to bring this guy on as an employee or continue this arrangement? And for a while, I was looking for, like a manager of sales and marketing. And as I got more applicants, I think a lot of the time those skill sets are distinct from one another. Like someone may really know how to generate leads and drive web traffic, but that's not necessarily the person you want on the phone with the leads that it generates.
Sure.
So I thought the two could be, my hope is that the two are complementary, and one, as we build out this sales funnel, we've got someone in lead generation creating the leads. We've got an outside salesperson qualifying and winning over the leads. And then I've got my inside salesperson invoicing, order entry, invoicing, doing that kind of thing.
So tell me more about this outside sales rep, because I think a lot of people consider that. And
a lot of people crash and burn with that.
A lot of people crash and burn, true, because I think the hardest thing to do is to figure out the compensation structure, because is this outside sales rep, A, are they officing from home or at your shop? And then B, is it only commission based, or is there a base pay plus commission? And how do you figure that shit out? Because I've always struggled with the challenge of, okay, well, let's say they bring in a customer and let's say 6 months down the road, that customer orders again. Am I still paying commission on that? Like, let's say they don't even help that customer in the future orders. Let's say the customer comes direct to somebody else here and we're servicing that, order, for I don't know, perpetuity. How do we pay? Like every single time, are we paying out commission? And if so, we're going to have to figure out a different, I guess, cost. Like, how do we even, charge for something like that? So have you figured that out? Do you have the magic?
I don't have a magic bullet for it. I'm figuring it out. I've tried it different ways, and I found that commission only is really hard, because I think with outside sales, it takes consistent effort over a certain period of time for it to be effective. Yeah. So if you're not compensating someone for their time up front to start sowing those seeds and building that pipeline, it's going to be really hard to get someone to commit. So the current arrangement with this outside salesperson is a base salary plus commission that's based on gross margin. Margins vary on different types of orders, and we track profitability by order. So based on the volume of gross margin that he brings in, which is, cost of the order minus garments, any inbound shipping, any outbound shipping, and any direct material costs related to the order, I'm going to pay him commission on the money that he actually generated.
Okay. So you're not, because you said gross, I was figuring because 100 hoodies is different than 100 tees.
Totally.
If you're paying him 10% of a total
or like a Carhartt hoodie versus a Gildan hoodie.
Exactly.
So you're saying you subtract out the garment?
take out the garment, take out any inbound shipping, take out any outbound. Like we say free shipping, right? And just wrap outbound shipping into the cost of the order. So all of those direct material costs that go into the order, I take that out and then I pay commission based on the gross margin.
So are you do you have to figure that out for every invoice that he creates? Or do you have a formula?
It's all automated. Like we're really trying to dial in. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but last year my cost of goods across, consumables, garments, everything, shipping, everything was up. So we're really trying to track that more diligently. So, I mean, from the jump when we place garments, when we place orders for garments, the person ordering puts in the actual cost that we're paying for that garment as they order it. And then by the time we brought Ryan Kasparian in last year, so we track impression times for everything. And my production manager inputs that into the same system that the garment cost is in. So once an order moves all the way through our system, we can have a report that says that we can actually know based on labor, materials, shipping, all of that, even packaging. We can see, are we actually making money on this order? And again, trying to figure out, okay, what type of orders are actually the best use of our time and resources?
Yeah.
And also with that, it helps with the compensation of, I don't want to be paying commission and then losing money as a result on these orders that he's bringing in. So I think that structure will have to adjust over time. And the individual that I found was more interested in like being a part of the team. And, he was not, I think commission structures can be hard, and depending on the motivation and success of the salesperson, it can kind of tip to either their benefit or the owner's benefit. So we'll kind of see. We have an initial agreement that we'll hopefully have to revisit as his sales volume grows. And I think that's part of the challenge of bringing on a position like that. But he's 100% outbound, and he's also like, so an inbound lead comes in, he's the first person to pick up the phone, and we try to make contact with inbound leads within 15 minutes of them inquiring.
15. Wow. That's some speed to quote right there. Like our goal is 4 hours. So like if we have a lead come in and it's in the morning, we try to get to it by lunch. You know what I mean? So, totally. And also like, I don't want to leave at 5:00. Let's say one comes in at 4. I don't want to leave without at least replying, like we don't have the full quote, but at least we reply and say, a lot of times we need to ask for art or whatever sure. At least we acknowledge the fact that we received your request for a quote and we're going to be working on it. You know what I mean? So I hate to leave it sitting there overnight. So
yeah. And
15 minutes. Wow.
Well, and we're not always, that's the goal, right? Okay, I'm like, if someone is reaching out and filling out that form on our website, like they want to do business with us. And so if they have a phone call from a friendly person within 15 minutes, a lot of the time people are blown away. They're like, whoa, that was fast. Or like,
so that's the first thing you do?
Back from someone.
Like the first thing you do is call?
Yeah. And then follow up with an email. Cause like a lot of the time, there may be things in the quote form that need further clarification, like you're saying, or like maybe they upload art and it isn't to spec. So that first phone conversation, and even if we have everything we need to quote accurately, I think it's just a good opportunity to like build rapport and set ourselves apart of like, hey, within 15 minutes, you got someone on the phone acknowledging your quote, asking about your company, asking about your timeline, and just making sure we're doing our due diligence on the front end and kind of like surprising and delighting.
It's a good first impression, for sure.
And then following up with an email of like, hey, these are the things we need to get the ball rolling. And we've got a whole workflow and drip for following up on that until either they ghost us or we close it. But right now, like we've got an 87% conversion rate for all of our inbound leads. So it's been pretty effective.
Is that like pre Kevin and post Kevin? In other words, are you doing this because of Kevin, or have you always done this?
No, a lot of it is because of Kevin. Like even pre-Kevin, we had a pretty strong conversion rate with Kevin.
I like pre-Kevin and post-Kevin.
We with Kevin, like that's for inbound, and like we've really had systems and procedures pretty dialed for that. With Kevin, I was hoping to get more like outbound. So that is this new guy that I brought on right now. He's fielding inbound inquiries and then warm inquiries. So we can pull like customers we've done business with, but haven't ordered in 6 months. He puts them on a workflow, on like a 3-week workflow with 6 touches, right? Just to, hey, how are things going?
That's pretty much what we're doing too.
Yeah.
What software are you using for that?
We use Pipedrive for a CRM.
And you're liking it?
I love it, man. It's super helpful. It's like very intuitive, really easy to use, and really flexible. So you can integrate we integrate that we track production through Airtable, and the two can be integrated pretty closely with Zapier, and Pipedrive is always rolling out new features. So they've got, we've got a chat bot on our website that integrates directly into the CRM. We've got web forms that integrate directly in.
The chat bot for us was sketchy for a long time.
Did you program responses? And
no, we had it where it was not, it might not have been a bot then, but it was a little thing that would pop up and be like, oh, we're here, live chat, ask us a question. Mm-hmm. And I just got nothing but like trolls constantly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be like 2 a.m. and it'd be like, hey, just horrible things.
I got a new phone. So when we were like a month ago, we were traveling and I upgraded to the 14 Pro. Pretty sweet. But when I did that, I did a trade-in, right? So they're like, hey, we're going to give you $550 for your old phone. I'm like, cool. And so I bought the phone online and I told them that I'd be there to pick up and I'll do the trade-in and all that kind of stuff. So I got to the Apple store, I did my trade-in, and the guy just takes my old phone and puts it in an envelope and leaves it on the counter
puts it in his pocket.
Basically, and by the Apple Watches and all that shit. And there's people walking around. I'm like, and I saw him. I was like, hey, so you've got the phone, right? Like, so you're just going to leave it there? Is everything cool? Like, you're giving me my trade-in? And he's like, yeah, I got you. And so, my phone, I wait there just a few more minutes because I was waiting for it to, download from the cloud, everything I needed. I leave, and then I get an email that says, like a couple days later, that says, hey, we haven't received your trade-in. We mailed you a box for you to ship it back, and where's it at? You have a couple more days. I can't remember what it was, and when this deal's off, like the trade-in's done, like no trade-in deal. And I'm like, shit, like you got to be kidding me. And so I jump on Apple, and I go to this chat. It says, hey, do you want to chat with somebody? I say, yeah, I want to chat. Let's live chat about this. Let's make this work out.
Let's hash this out.
Yeah, let's figure it out. Something's up. And so I start chatting with this guy, and he's like, yeah, hey, I can help you out. Like, and he asked for some like personal information.
And it's a bot.
And I'm like, so, here's what's going on. He's like, okay, cool. He's like, I've got you, bro. I'm like, okay, well, maybe he's just being real friendly. I get it. So he's just a friendly guy. And then a few things later, he's like, well, you're supposed to, ship it back. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, I gave the phone to you at the store. And he goes like, oh, okay. Yeah. Well, don't worry, man. Like, we're going to take care of this. And I'm like, are you real? I go, is this a real person? And that's my question to them. And he said his name was he replied back and said, yeah, totally. And then I was just done, like over, I'm not talking to you again. And I called the number. And so, yeah. But I think what Apple has done in this case is made it, because you guys were talking about these chat bots and you can program them or whatever. I think there's a demographic and it just chooses to say like, yeah, totally. Or it's just talking to you as like maybe a person would, but I recognize that that's not real. That can't be real. There's just no way that's real. And so,
dude, I don't trust a fucking thing anymore. Like there's so much AI this, AI that. We were having all those discussions in LA about how you can write like full fucking employee handbooks with like some notes to AI and like, dude, it's insane.
It's probably not long before Chat GPT or whomever you can just hire as your outbound salesperson.
Two things with that though. One, it bums me the fuck out. Like all this AI stuff really bums me out because like I said, you can't trust anything anymore, and it's making people lazy as fuck. Like you just can put in a couple words and a whole paper's written for you, and there's no heartfelt anything. It's just like it's all bullshit,
plagiarism,
genuine.
Basically,
it's just I just don't like it. And second, for me, is like I really like cryptid stuff and like fucking aliens and like all this other stuff. And it's like really cool when, a lot of these videos are sketchy and it's like some dude with his phone, but it's like, it's cool when you see one, you're like, oh my God, this is it. Like finally get to see a video of like an alien or a fucking Sasquatch in the woods. You can't trust a goddamn thing anymore because people can make all this on their computer and none of it's real. And it bums me the fuck out. And the second part to that whole thing is like Andy said, going to the store and trading in his phone. And me and Andy were talking about this last week because apparently we both pay for our mother's phones and our mom's phone plans and everything. And I took my mom out to get a new phone, and she hasn't had a new phone in 8 years. She has like an old iPhone, I don't know what it was, 6 or something. And took her to the store, and she has her phone, and she's like, it just turned black one day and it won't come back on. And I've tried everything, and I just trusted her word. And we go to the thing, and she hands the guy the phone, and he literally is like, oh, what'd it do? She's like, it turned black. He's like, held 2 buttons and it fucking reset and turned right back on. She's like, oh my God, what'd you do? And like all this other stuff. And then I was like, whatever, Mom, it doesn't matter. It's an old ass phone. Like, I'll get you a new one. So she's showing the phones or whatever. So I get her a new phone, and she picks it up, and she's like, she turned it toward herself and it turned on. And she's like, whoa, I didn't touch anything. What is going on? I was like, Mom, the phone recognizes your face. And she was freaking the fuck. She's like, I don't know if I want this. Like, I don't like, is it, can it see me? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, it can hear you all day long. So you say shit next to it, you're going to get ads for whatever. And it's like, she's like, we talk about it all the time and it's whatever, but like to someone like her, she's like learning just now that like she's being watched and listened to.
Yeah. And I think it's the best of times and the worst of times. And I think it's really awesome that your phone, I can get in my car and it knows where I'm going based off of like predictability.
But it's us being super naive. Like where it's like, yeah,
it's also us being super naive because we're talking, and the next thing I know, I see an ad for something that I said, and I'm like, that sucks, or it's really great because I do want to buy that, or something. So it's like, it's the best and it's the worst. I'd probably pick it to not know anything, honestly, because one day being out in the desert a few weeks ago, I mean, that's where I want to be. I want to be where nobody is.
I say that shit though, but like I would also pay for like if there was an ad thing where I'd said, if someone is like walking in their kitchen talking to their husband or whatever, and they're like, oh, we really need to order shirts for that team. Next time they pick their phone up, it's like, oh, you should get your shirts at Upstate Merch. That's like, but I don't know. I don't like it.
It's easy to see the scary parts of it. I think honestly, I don't think anyone has any idea where all of this goes. It's
the scary part for me is that if this shit can learn and talk better than we can talk, or figure shit out better than we can figure out, what's it to say that it's not straight up Terminator, where they just put that shit in a robot and it can figure all the shit out, it can talk just like we can, it can infiltrate us, it can do everything, and then all of a sudden it just like slow stabs us all.
I just watched a movie on Netflix about a warrior AI bot. Did you watch that one? Did you see it?
I don't know what it's called.
It was like number 1. I'll go to it. Hold on. But anyway, it had that exact thing where it
like was in a Ex Machina or whatever, where
something like that.
Dude falls in love with it, even though he knows it's a fucking robot. Yeah. And then it stabs him.
Well, anyway,
We could go down that rabbit hole, but I have a question for you guys.
yeah, what's up?
Okay.
Good transition out of that.
Yeah, thank you. Derailed.
I'm in my business journey to this point has kind of been a series of like leaps, right? Of hiring a first employee, buying a first auto, moving into bigger spaces, and every leap is kind of feels a lot of the time it feels a little sweaty, right? You're like, I hope this works out, but I got to keep going forward. Now my business is kind of at another leap where we've got 12 months left on our current lease, and we've been busting at the seams for 2 years, have had several contracts on new spaces fall through, and I'm kind of at the point where like we've got to take that next step. And I think the farther each subsequent leap is like typically more capital intensive.
Yep.
And so the bigger you get, now it's not hiring one new employee, but it's hiring 2 new employees, or it's getting your second or third press. But I'm curious for you guys, you guys have been in this game a bit longer than I have and have grown your business a little bit bigger than mine. At each of those stages, or does that resonate with your experience? And how have you guys funded those, each of those leaps? Like, I know it's different for there's a million different situations where there's generational wealth. Sometimes some people are maxing out credit cards. Maybe you guys have a bunch of podcast money. But I'm curious how you guys have kind of navigated that growth curve of, especially from a financing perspective, like when you've had to make those big moves and kind of cross your fingers and hope it works out. How have you mitigated risk and made those leaps?
I feel like Andy can talk better on the leasing a space aspect than I can. For me, I kind of got lucky and bought my building, but people talk to me quite a bit though, because I like upfront buy most of my equipment when all the things, and my leaps have always been like kind of paid for. My thing is more, I think about it for a really long time. Like I never really dive into things at all. Like I might, I go talk to somebody, and it's funny, someone like Kevin or whatever, and I say, hey, I'm really interested in a laser. And they're like salespeople. So they're like, oh yeah, hurry up, like get you a quote, send it to you. And they're like, hey, you ready to pull the trigger on this? And I'm just like, yeah, I'll let you know. And like, I'll fucking milk that shit out for like a year. Like I won't jump on it now, because the thing is at that moment, I'm like, yeah, I want to get this. I should probably get this. But me procrastinating on it kind of is like, do I really need it? Like, do I actually figure this out? Like, did I have the right space? And then something happens and I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I didn't do that, because now I for sure have all my shit together and I have all the money together. I have everything dialed. I know where I'm at. I'm not hurting my cash flow. I'm not doing this. So like, I kind of try to like think of what I need, and I stretch it out to where I get it later. And then I realize that doing this for so long in the beginning, I thought it was a defect of mine to like kind of drag those things out. But now where I'm at, I feel like it's a plus, because there's so many things that I thought I needed, and then I waited a little bit and I realized I didn't need, and then I would have wasted a fuckload of money just like jumping into things. So that's my input on that whole thing. I live in a small town, so for me shit's way cheaper. Like I can't compete with people that like Andy in St. Louis. There's no fucking way. Like it's not the same for me as it is for him. So Andy,
I think that I don't think it's a defect of yours. I think that you're just being conservative at times in your risk, like, because it is risky. All of those leaps are risky. There's unknowns, right? I mean, we take our best guess, and you're right. You make a move, and there's no guarantees. We're out there without that. Who knows? Like we have enough work for a couple of weeks, but if nobody places any orders, then we're done. So there's no guarantees in business, I guess. I think that I've changed over the years, though. I think that, and sort of with the times, because I was going to say to you, when you started that question, I think this is almost a two-part question, like right now, I don't know that I would lease a bigger space or buy more equipment or hire
just
anybody.
because of the way of the world right now.
I would say that, okay, so Dylan and I heard that there's was a pretty big layoff at an equipment manufacturer. And that's interesting to me. What does that mean exactly in our industry? Does that mean that people aren't buying equipment right now? And if so, why not? And we also know that a bunch of our friends, their shops have started off the year slow. And so I don't know, it's for me anyway, and I don't want to be a glass is half empty because we always talk about our optimism in the world. But at the same time, it's probably good to just maybe chill just for a minute and see what happens, see how this unfolds, because I'm not sure that I don't know that anytime. It's really hard to predict. You speculate and say, wow, it's great. We're going to be crazy busy. And I think that our industry is somewhat immune to some of the things that happen in the world because, to a certain extent, people need t-shirts or apparel, I should say. But I'm not making any big moves right now.
But they also don't need apparel. Like 90% of our, 90% of what we do is just like fucking fun shit. It's like, it's not necessary at all. It's not like it's going to a fucking hospital or it's like military.
Well, we do for you maybe, but we do work for some hospitals. We do work for the city.
No, I'm not. I'm saying like
it's uniform
most of
stuff.
the jobs I feel like that come in is like a fucking shark with a machine gun, and it's like it's not fucking necessary.
You need that. What are you talking about? That's a need.
It's for fun.
And so I would say that how in the past have I funded things? Well, it's changed over the years. When I started this, I was coming off of a different shop. This is the second shop I started. I had some equity and I bought cash, some of my first things. After I got going, it was a slow start because the restart, I thought, when I was restarting, I was like, oh, I'll just I'll open up my shop and I'll be kicking fucking ass. And that wasn't the case. Nobody emailed me.
Never happens.
Nobody called. Nobody came in. I didn't have any orders. And I'm like, oh shit. And so I had, I lost money for a while, and it took me a minute to get the snowball rolling. And once it did, though, I was when the pain points, when they were there, and I'm like, hey, I have a bottleneck right here, and I need to fix that. I didn't fix it on day one, like Dylan said, or day 30 even. I waited until I was like, that's a real spot. Like, there's no doubt that we're struggling. And we need another piece of equipment. We need to automate or whatever it was. And so I went out and did that. And initially, those first, I guess, year 2 and 3, I financed. Like the second auto I bought a package. I bought an auto, 2 flashes, and a dryer, and I financed that shit. Yeah. And so I made payments. I did it over 36 payments, and I knew that payment, that I could service that debt, though. I knew that my income, I knew that there was money there at that time.
I think that's the biggest thing, though, is you need to know that you have some kind of safety net or some kind of way to make it happen if your original plan doesn't happen.
Oh,
I feel like most of the time your original, like, oh yeah, like I could take out a $500,000 loan, like no problem, like, because I got this job coming in. Or I've got this customer or whatever, but it's like, as soon as that customer goes away, like, how do you pay that bill? Like, do you have a backup plan? Do you have something in place to where if that customer goes away because some buddy came along and said, I print shirts too, that you're not going to be like fucked over? Like,
I've never been one.
That's the biggest scare.
I've never been one to play it safe. I think I've played it. I think you take your best guess and you just go. I remember like 1 zillion episodes ago, we were talking to Juan from Squeegee Prints. Might have been like our second episode. And he said that he bought an auto without really the work to fill up an auto every day. But if he hadn't bought that auto, he wouldn't have got a certain account that he got. And he never would have grown at that accelerated pace. And so sometimes you just got to just do it. And if it doesn't work out, what's the worst that can happen? I guess you sell the auto, or something, and you
your shop goes under and you have to fire all your employees and everyone goes hungry.
Sure,
they're
but
homeless
you're not dead. You know, you're alive.
Pump the brakes. Last year I paid off all my existing equipment. I paid off last year. We had a good amount of cash, and I mean, I get that, man. Like the world feels there's Chinese spy balloons over Montana.
I just saw that
over the Pentagon or something. I saw one last night or something.
The world feels crazy right now for sure. So I get that. And you know, the economy as a whole is probably, well, not probably, is pulling back in the next couple of years. But I think there's also opportunities in contexts like that. So in my local, like in my area in Northern Colorado, there's the real estate market has been bananas for a really long time. Last year we had a contract to purchase a building that we ended up, you know, we did engineering drawings, went through a review with the city and ended up canceling the contract because the city announced they were going to build a homeless shelter next door. And so I've kind of had my sights set on using the asset of my business to get a real estate asset at some point. And with the economy turning the way that it has, I mean, we're already seeing slowdown in the real estate market. So right now we've been negotiating with a property that was taken off the market. They tried to sell it this last year. It sat on the market. They lowered the price. It sat on the market. They took it off the market. So we came in with an offer well below what they had it at, and are waiting to hear back from that. But I think there's also other opportunities. Like you do have to figure out, okay, what is worst case scenario and what is everyone has a unique risk tolerance, right? And probably a different set of circumstances that drives that.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I think that as even with so much fear, uncertainty, and doubt floating around, I think that there's opportunity there too. But that's helpful. Dylan, I appreciate your approach too of like buying equipment in cash up front is probably an ideal scenario. I mean, that's for sure ideal.
Well, like you said perfectly a minute ago, it's like I feel like everybody's circumstances are different, or everybody's approach to it is a little bit different. And I think my thing is that like I'm from a small town. I grew up with no money. I've been broke as fuck before, where I'm like eating fucking mashed potato sandwiches because I have nothing to fucking eat, or I have to sell something to like.
That sounds delicious, by the way.
First of all, it was, but it's just like I feel like you look at money differently when you have nothing. You're like, okay, I've got some finally. Like I busted my ass. I have some money. I need to make sure that this money counts. And I don't want to just go blow it. You know what I mean? I don't want to go just buy something and then like worst case scenario, you're not dead. But it's like, I don't want to be back to fucking broke as fuck again either. Like I don't want to have to struggle to get back to where I am. So I feel like my motivation through this whole business has been like, I want to make sure I have no debt because I hate having that linger over me. I hate borrowing money from anybody for anything because then it's always over my head. If we have a slow season, it's like, oh, okay, cool. I can't pay the bill. And then it's constantly like, where's my money? Where's my money? Where's my money? And it's like, I don't like that. So my whole approach has been just like, I'm going to pay it. I'm going to buy it. It's mine. And then when something like COVID happened, like realistically, I have no overhead. Like the only overhead I have is payroll and utilities. But like if they're not here and there's no utilities being used, I owe nobody anything. Like I could just sit home, watch TV and open up 2 months later the same way it was before because I have no bills. I have no debt.
I think there's balance there. There needs to be balance there though, because cash is king. And when COVID happened, if you had purchased everything cash, which left you cash poor, then what happens there? So I think that there's a balance.
I don't ever do that though either.
But what I'm saying is like, it wouldn't have been so bad if you had financed some of the stuff, if you had sitting on a stack of cash to get you through those tough times. So I think it's not all or nothing in other words.
Right. There's a million, the long and short of it is there's a million ways you could do it. I just think you should be smart about it and just not fucking like, yeah, I want to the people that are rich are like, I want to start a clothing line, and they don't even have a clothing line yet. They just have an idea of a fucking shirt with their last name on it, and they go buy an auto and fucking all this shit, and it's like, dude, you're not there yet. Fucking pump the brakes.
Two things. If I ever become rich, I will still eat mashed potato sandwiches because that sounds delicious.
Nice. Yeah, it's good.
In fact, Joanne has eaten ramen 3 meals in a row, but she had discovered this thing on Instagram where you put slices of American cheese in it, or a slice of American cheese in it, in your ramen. So it's basically mac and cheese.
That's gross as fuck,
soup.
Whatever you're saying right now.
No, that's what she's eating.
Like a Kraft single?
Yeah, like a Kraft single in the bottom of your ramen bowl, and then it turns into...
That's like ramen alone. You're like, okay, they're poor. I mean, I like ramen, but I'm just saying that's like the gold standard for like the cheapest meal.
Oh, that's bougie ramen, you're saying, like with cheese in it. You're not poor anymore.
It'd be bougie ramen if you're like, I put Gouda on top. You're like, no, I went and got a fucking Kraft single that doesn't melt.
Yeah.
That's just lingering at the bottom.
True. I agree with you though, Garrett, because I think that I think that when there's a down market or whatever it is, the baller move is to look at that as like opportunity, because if the housing market, for example, you were saying like real estate market, the commercial real estate market is not as hot, well, then you're going to be able to get a better deal on that building, right? Somebody might take that offer, that lower offer, because it's not as hot anymore. And so you have to have that confidence to say, okay, well, I'm going to buy this building, even though who knows about the world with, we've got hot air balloons flying around and stuff, but I'm cool with that. No sweat. I've got this. And no long term that it'll be fine. It's the pendulum will swing back, and then all of a sudden we're really busy and people are buying equipment and stuff like that. But you have to be able to be okay with that,
Yeah.
To have that debt or whatever it is looming over you, that hey, it might be a rough road for a few months or maybe even a few years before it turns again.
Does that resonate with your guys' experience though, of like getting to certain points where you can't continue to? I mean, it feels to me like, well, I keep coming to these points where you've got to take a leap, and it's like, it feels a little uncomfortable. And to this point, not to assume that this will go on indefinitely, but like to this point, it's worked out every time. And it just seems like as that progresses, inevitably the stakes get higher, or sometimes the leaps get higher. So that's where the Andy versus Andrew dynamic, and that do we stay where we are and just maintain, or do we keep going? And sometimes it feels like sometimes it feels like going forward is actually the easier thing, because like we've got so many bottlenecks right now where we're at, that in order to like, do I just hope my staff can put up with this for a little bit longer, or do we take that leap and keep going and solve these problems? And then probably, 8-9 months down the road, new problems arise. It's just kind of like, it seems to be a cycle.
If I was in your position, I would look at it in two ways of like, yeah, I could buy a bigger building and I wouldn't have to fix the shit that I'm worrying about right now. And I could just shove everything in a bigger building and be like, okay, cool, I've got more space. Like, this is going to solve everything. Or you look at the other side of it too, and I'm sure you did this because you're a smart guy, is like, what can you do to make things more efficient in the space that you currently have? Like, or, is there any way you can move things or get rid of something that you don't use that much, or implement a new technology to where, you don't need as much space and like all this other stuff. Like, this is an offshoot of that, but it just popped in my head with the space savings. It's just like, there's so much talk in the industry now of like, okay, you could do digital or DTF or something on something, anything over 6 colors. And, people are going out and buying these 14, 16, 18 color presses. And it's like, that's another thing that makes me pause and want to step back, is like, digital is come such a long way, and it gets better and better like every month. It's one of those things. It's like, what's the future look like? Does the future look like screen printing is definitely not going away, but maybe you don't do anything over 6 colors anymore. You just pump out those 500 to 1,000, even 100 pieces, 1 color, 2 color, 3 color on the auto. Anything after that is some kind of digital print, it's DTF or digital squeegee or whatever it is. It's like, does the future of our industry just revolve around really efficient 6-color presses, like small
Dylan?
footprint 6-color presses?
That is gold. That's gold. I love you.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, like,
absolutely. I think you are. That's factual. I think that that's really something to consider. I mean, it has come so far, so fast. I mean, we were at the show, and how many DTF, not just suppliers, but printers did you see?
Well, the thing with DTF though is like we're all on the fence because we're screen printers and whatever, but it's also like, you know, it's fucking brand new, and the big heavy hitters don't have a machine yet. It's like you don't see an Epson DTF printer yet. You don't see like this stuff, and it's like, what happens when they get involved? And then, you know, technology changes because people want to innovate and change things, and you know, we might get to the point where it's like, oh, this feels, fit, stretch, everything just like a screen print. Then it's like, why fucking bother anymore? Like, if we can, like, I think Andy and a couple other people were talking about when it gets to be where it's an inline thing where you can print the DTF and put it right on your heat press or some kind of automated thing. It's like, why fucking bother making 16 screens and setting up on the auto? It's like, yeah, print the jobs that you can print faster than digital. But if digital feels and gives you the same product that your customer's going to be happy with, like, why bother printing it like that?
And the skill level with that, like, you could train somebody to transfer DTF.
Like, I love the art, and I would love screen printing, and I never want it to go away, and I still want to print shit. But I'm just saying, like, there's the Andy and Andrew thing again, where Andrew's looking at it as a business owner of like, do I go buy a building for $5 million and get a bigger space because I want to have 4 18-color autos? Or do I save my costs, stay where it is I am now, cheaper and labor and everything else, and just like try to automate or use technology in a way to where I'm staying where I'm at for cheaper, and I'm actually making more money because it's less labor, less screens, less inks, less whatever. So I don't know. That's the two sides I look at it, is like, what's the industry doing? What am I actually doing? You know, there was a while on the show and everything, like I had a quote in, I was going to get a digital squeegee, and then it got to like 2 months later, DTF was coming out, and my biggest thing was like, there's all these prints that I don't want to print because they're a million colors, and I keep turning customers away, even though we could do a 12-color print. Like, do I want to do that for every job? And then DTF came out, and we turned heads on the whole thing. We're like, well, if a customer wants to have a full photo, digital, whatever print, let's offer them a high quality water-based transfer.
I said this to Dylan last week. I said, we have 3 presses here, and we have 2 Sprint 3000s, and it doesn't make sense because we have 2 presses on one of the Sprints, and just the way our shop has expanded and lays out. And then we have this other massive dryer, split belt dryer, that we have a 10-color Sportsman on, that the other side of the belt, nothing goes down it ever. And I said to Dylan, I'm like, hey, I think, like, what if I sold one of our dryers and that Sportsman to create space for a DTF machine and a bunch of transfer presses? And we did exactly what he's talking about. And he's thinking the same thing. Like, what if we, shifted all those high color count stuff over to DTF? It is really interesting. Like, it's a really interesting thought, because, we had this conversation with Tony from industry, like the purist in me, the screen printer in me that started with wooden frames in a garage, like I would never want to just have digital transfer.
And I don't want to offer digital as a cheaper way for me to just get away with having a print. I don't want to offer it to customers unless I feel super comfortable that it's what they're looking for, and it's the feel and fit and everything. And it's funny, we can have this discussion, but again, I think at dinner at Long Beach, I can't remember who I was sitting with, but it was like, you go to the mall now and you go to like any of these like hip stores, fucking 90% of what's on the shirt is a transfer. It's just like, that's, some people are just looking for that feel now and fit because that's what they want. And it's like
crazy.
So it's crazy. I don't know. I'm trying to look at, I think my business is at the point where it runs itself. I'm always trying to, like you said, deal with Kevin and get outbound and grow the company. But I also want to look at like what's ahead. I don't want to be like, yeah, I'm just going to invest in like 5 more autos and then whatever. And it's like, what happens in 2 years if that's not relevant anymore?
I think that's smart. We've got, we brought in a pneumatic heat press, like a dual station pneumatic heat press this last year. And that it solves a lot of problems for high color count. For us, it's mostly like high color counts at low quantities.
Exactly. That's where we're at right now with it.
And like super technical stuff. Like we've been doing more and more of those like independent outerwear pieces, the windbreakers, and that super color blocker recipe on those is super nice and really easy.
You mean super nice?
Super nice, super easy. So I think it definitely I think that's gotta be, the purist in me is also like hesitant about that, but also you want to be, you don't want to be the Kodak of our industry, right? And you want to be forward looking and keep an eye on where the technology is headed. One of our niches, we've been niching the last couple of years in bandanas. And like when we really got good at water-based, we had a customer come along who was starting, I think this was 4 years ago. A customer came along who was starting a bandana subscription service. And at the time I was like, I mean, that sounds ridiculous, but I'll take your money. And so we printed, I've got an M&R Saturn like clamshell press for flat stock. And we printed bandanas on that. And the next month, and it was cumbersome and lame. And
so how did that done. Did you use, how does it have the
vacuum?
The air, the vacuum?
Yeah, but and for flat stock, we use the vacuum, but for this, we put pallet tape over it, then put pallet adhesive on there. It was horrible, man. Like it was just like us figuring out a way to do it. But we had the oversized screens for the Saturn. And anyway, she comes back the next month, wants 200, then the next month wants 400. And like, eventually she's ordering like 1,500 of these a month. And I'm like, there's no way that we can continue to do this on the clamshell. So we bought oversized pallets and oversized screens and oversized CTS and like all the oversized stuff for our rock. And since then, it's just been like this crazy niche that we've fallen into that has been challenging, but like really, it's cool. So something like that, I'm like, for a while at least, I think that screen printing will remain relevant for certain things like
I feel like it always will. It always will be there for the, there's always going to be somebody who wants screen printing. It's like the same thing with like vinyl. Like vinyl went away and now vinyl's huge again because everyone wants that feel and that, that sound and whatever else. I feel like it's always going to be there regardless. Like no one's ever getting out of screen printing. I'm just looking at it as a business owner who has 10, 15 people that rely on me to pay their bills and everything. And I also want to be in this industry for as long as I can be in it. I'm 35. Like if I want to retire or whatever, I'm 65. I got 30 years left to figure out. This industry is going to change a shitload in 30 years. It changed a shitload in fucking, I don't know. We were talking about this the other day where it's like, the first 10, 15 years of us being in business, it was the same. Like in our minds, nothing changed. All we wanted to do was we came in and we print t-shirts on an automatic press and we printed t-shirts. I feel like the last 2 years, it's been nothing but like this new technology's out. This new printing process is out. Everyone's getting this press and heat press and digital this and this and this. It's like that was in 2 years. What happens in the next 4 years? What happens in the next 10 years? It's AI. Like it changed so fast fucking AI now, everything. It's like AI art and AI writing everything. It's like, what's going to happen next year? It's like, I have no idea. So I'm not doubling down on the classic way of doing everything because it's changing so fast.
Yeah, it's smart. Has fulfillment been, I know like when COVID first went down, everyone pivoted real quickly to doing web stores and fundraising stuff. And us included, it kind of got us through the first couple months, first half of 2020 in a great way. Is fulfillment part of your guys' business? And if not, Do you see that as a big value add for the niches that you serve, or do you see opportunity in integrating with that service?
You want me to do it?
Go for it.
We did some fulfillment and had web stores when we did bands. Kind of didn't focus on it enough, didn't dedicate an employee enough to it. This is way before COVID. And then that kind of went away. And then right before COVID, like, I don't know, a year before COVID, I was like, kind of want to get back into it because we were in the niche that we were really heavy in at the time was comedians. So we did a lot of like touring comedians, and they were starting to do podcasts and all this other stuff. So they all wanted merch that was like fulfillment, so that someone would buy it on their web store and we would fulfill it. And then COVID happened, and then I was like, oh fuck, like this is taking off a lot more than it was before. So I got the racking, I had custom boxes made, I did the whole fulfillment department with like all the packing shit and all the computers and figuring things out and everything. And then we started to be like, oh, this is a thing now. We're going to be doing a shitload of fulfillment, you know. And then we just started taking on clients. And we were like, yeah, comedians was our biggest thing. We were like, okay, comedians are doing all this stay at home. They can't go out and tour, so they want to do it all here fulfillment wise. And then I think just the same that happened to everybody. I mean, a lot of people I'm sure can relate to this. Is just like people are dicks. Like not everyone's a good customer. And it's like you get a comedian that you look at their Instagram profile and they're like, oh, they have 1.5 million followers and we're going to sell so much merch. And then they say, hey, I've got a web store now. Go buy my shirt with my face on it. And they sell 3 shirts and then they never promote it ever again. It's like the hardest part with fulfillment that I've found, it might not be the same for everybody, is most people don't want to promote themselves in that way. They don't want to sell merch. They want to have a web store. So if someone goes to their website, they can say store, but they never want to talk about it. They never want to be like, hey, we've got shirts for sale and, you know, go buy a shirt and whatever else. It's like, they just don't do it. And you have to remind them, you're like, hey, every time you mention that you have a store, you sell 10 to 20 shirts, but they never mention it. And then we end up with shelves and shelves of a ton of merch. And then I have to call them at some point and be like, hey, you sold 4 shirts this month. We need the rack space. So you have to buy back. Our agreement was different than some people. Like I upfronted it where they signed a contract basically that said that like we make top dollar on when somebody sells something. It's not like we made $2. We made like $15 a shirt sold. So like we made really good money when people bought stuff. But the plus for the customer that we were doing it for, they didn't have to pay any upfront costs at all. So they were stoked to start a store. But the problem is when they don't sell anything, they have to buy it all back at wholesale costs. So if we have 50 of each design or 100 of each design or whatever on the shelf, they're buying it all back at, you know, like if we printed 100 shirts.
I think if they don't have skin in the game, if they're not paying for that stuff up front, there's little motivation for them to be promoting it, right?
Right. But I mean, they make money still. Like it's a good for the people who do it, and we still offer it to like the really good ones. Like we make bank and they make bank, and it's a good thing. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like for me, we stepped back hard on it. Like we still do it, but like I said, I don't offer it really on the website. There's a lot of people that hit us up that are like, oh, we want to do a web store. And I'm like, tell me about yourself. And most of the time I'm just like, I don't think it's a good fit, and we don't do it.
Yeah. My take on fulfillment is that it's gross and I don't want to do it. So like, I think it's completely different. It's a completely different business.
It is a different business
than screen printing, and it's a gross business. I think that it definitely is a value add. You mentioned that part, and yes, it's true that if you did fulfillment, that you can charge for that, and you can have a whole nother. You could be niching. Is that the word? Yeah, you could be niching into a like a sort of the customer that needs that, you know, with their merch. But we tried it, we dabbled in it, and we hated it, you know, and so it wasn't fun. It was anti-fun. It was unfun. And so
it was Andrew.
It was, yeah, it was so Andrew. And I was like, fuck this. And so I think that it would probably be smart to have that and to offer it. And we do here and there. We'll open a store for somebody, and we have a couple stores going now, for example, but we don't go hard at all, with fulfillment. I know that some shops do. And like you said, it provides it like diversifies you because, if it does shut down, you have this e-com, sort of component to your business, which is a smart move, but we just hated it. And so we decided not to do it. I think if you are going to do it, you need to have a team dedicated and trained in that is all in. Like that's their thing. That's what they do. They're not just part-time, sometimes doing it, because it's really hard. And so it's a commitment, and it's a commitment we didn't want to make. And so we decided to, for us anyway, not to do it. But that's not to say that it isn't good and it isn't profitable. I remember
I was going to say, there's friends of ours that are super into fulfillment and do really, really well at it, like Night Owl and Jared AKT, like all those people, but it's their market though, too. Like they're dealing with bands, and bands' biggest thing is like, hey, we want to order all of our tour merch through you, but we also want you to run our fulfillment. Like we want one place to have, like, you do merch for our store and you do merch for our tour. And it's like, they're really, really good at it. And
out of our however many Google reviews we only have 2 bad Google reviews, and they came off of fulfillment stores on like one shirt, because they got a shirt and then it was the wrong size and blah, blah, blah. And they got pissed off at us, and they gave us they said that we were a scam, what I'm saying? Like off of one shirt. I think it's there's a lot of, it's a difficult thing to do. But some people do it really successsucally. So it's not a bad thing to do. It's just not for me. That's for sure.
I mean, I think in our experience, like I think we fulfilled like 2-week fundraiser stores this week, and we've got that really dialed. We launch them on Shopify and fulfill them through ShipStation and get really good feedback for that. And a lot of the time it's like a big value add it's like a relationship builder with good customers who are usually ordering wholesale, right? But I do look at fulfillment as like, man, it really, having that capability allows you to go after a different tier of customer, if that's what you want to do. But there's like a certain tier of customer that, there's a couple big restaurant groups that we have our eye on who currently have services that, produce and fulfill merch to their 25 doors around the country. So I think it enables you to go after customers that require that service, but there's so many nightmare stories of shops trying to take it on and it not working out, so I appreciate you guys sharing your experience there.
I think it's just something you have to be dedicated to. It can't just be a pet project. It has to be something that you're like, this is what we do now. The other big thing about it though, is it takes a lot of space. Like, a lot of space. Like you're right now talking about, I don't have enough space to run my print shop. Definitely not going to have enough space if you want to offer fulfillment, because it takes up a shitload. As soon as somebody wants to get a hoodie, it's like, well, there's a rack. Like it takes up so much room.
How many square feet are you in, Dylan?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't know. I never did the math. I never figured it out. Didn't care.
Whoa.
Well, you need to take a tape measure and
why? So I can join the dick measuring contest of like when you walk into a thing and they're like, how many employees do you have and how much square feet do you have?
How many autos? No.
How many autos?
I think before we get to quick takes, I had a funny story. So it was yesterday, it was day before, I had all within 5 minutes, I had 3 people submit their resumes here, and they were all from the same place. They were all shift managers at Taco Bell. So I'm thinking something went down at Taco Bell, and we need answers. And so, do you want to live call them right now and say why'd you?
Yes, fuck yeah, that would rule. Let's do it.
Let's do this.
But I do want to have. We are hiring. Although a minute ago I said like I'm considering a hiring freeze. Like, should we be hiring? I don't know. But we typically do in March. That's the time we do. We add a few people, and so there they are. I've got all 3 from Taco Bell. We're going to steal them.
You get a hell of a quesadilla out of it.
I think I've always we've had several people come here from fast food, and it's always been a good experience. Like if you can survive a year as a shift manager at Taco Bell or KFC or whatever, you'll do
It's funny
well
you
here.
say that because Rich, one of our really good employees who does like all the screen tech stuff, he was a manager at Taco Bell.
If you can survive, I have some great employees that came from the service industry who were thrilled to get out of the service industry. But a lot of the time, those people work really hard and are accustomed to much worse working conditions than
and hectic working conditions.
Hectic, chaotic, stressful. So like coming into a print shop it's a cushy job for them.
Right.
And especially in the last couple of years, man, the service industry has been so brutal for so many people that there's a lot of refugees trying to get out of that line of work.
I imagine at Taco Bell, you get a customer that, orders a chalupa and they said that, hey, motherfucker, I told you I didn't want sour cream on this.
And then throws it through the window.
Yeah. You're in a, like a fist fight, before you know it. Here, at least, if you're upset with your short order, the worst I've had is I think somebody did throw their shirt on the ground once, in the showroom. They just were upset. They didn't want it. And so they just left it on the ground. That's okay though.
Garrett, do you have any shop hacks or questions for us that you didn't already ask?
A couple shop hacks. I think, I got 3 things that I haven't already mentioned. I've always found getting outside perspective on your business to be really helpful. So like bringing in people like Kevin Baumgart, Ryan Kasparian, and then even like from a financial perspective, a couple times I've had my business audited by, our county has a small business development center that offers free resources. And so I've always found it important and helpful to get different sets of eyes on the same set of problems or have someone weigh in on your business. And so getting outside perspective has been helpful for me. We do a 4-day work week. We work Monday through Thursday, 4 10s. And like, I don't think we'll ever go back.
Really?
It's been really, I think my employees like it a lot because most of,
Do you do it just for production or for production and sales?
Just for production. So sales still works at least a half day on Friday because, most of our customers are still doing business on Friday. So sales works shorter hours Monday through Thursday, and then typically a half day on Friday. But from a production standpoint, it also gives us that buffer of like, if we're really under the gun and need to get something done, we have Friday open that we can extra work can be scheduled then. But more than anything, I think people just appreciate it. Like people can link longer weekend trips, and I think like 3 days off, 4 days on is just a better balance for human beings, to be honest.
Yeah. I got a question about this because we've talked to a bunch of people that have done the 40 work week, and I'm just trying to think if I should apply it to my shop. Is what do you do for the sales staff? Do they work? How do their hours go then? If they're taking a half day Friday, are they working the full 10 hours as everybody else plus a half day on Friday?
No, they come in later Monday through Thursday. So typically, like
my concern with that would be our sales staff also doubles as checking artwork.
So that kind of leads into this next one. This next shop hack, like before we send out, to keep good communication between sales and production, we have like a second eyes review before a proof gets sent to a customer, because sales is building the proof. And then before they send that for approval, production reviews it and weighs in on like, hey, that ink isn't going to work on that garment, or we need to add another base there.
When you say production, so who in production, like a production manager?
Yeah, production manager or our production artist. So, and sometimes me, like basically it sends a notification email to all 3 of us, and whoever is first to it will initial off on it, weigh in, and then it gets approved. And then the salesperson makes, they can make any revisions and then send it out. So hopefully by the time it gets to press and is coming off, and they only come in an hour later. So maybe they've got through the first print of the day, but that a salesperson approving the first one off press isn't really part of our process. Like we just go off of the proof that at that point it's been approved by the customer, it's been reviewed by the production team, and obviously the salesperson made it. So, but that also helps with just salespeople who may not have probably don't have the same level of technical knowledge as the production team. Gives us the opportunity to address technical or printing issues before the customer has approved it, and then we have to solve that problem.
I like that hack. I think it's like a preventative measure hack. You're trying to eliminate problems on press, and I'm sure it does sometimes. So I like that. It doesn't even take that long.
I think that's good. My concern was more like production. We set the mock-ups, we get everything proofed, everything's whatever, but the first strike off on press gets brought into sales to look at it and be like, yeah, this is right. Like, this looks like what the customer was wanting. So my concern is that if I did production 10 hours and I only did sales for 8 hours, then it's 2 hours of the day when they're trying to print a job that they have no one to approve it with. Like, finally, that would be my only concern with that.
Yeah. That whole thing. I mean, at this point, we just treat the proof as we take a lot of time to make sure the proof is right, and then treat the proof as ultimate authority. So like, to make sure all of the sizes are spec'd properly, that it's mocked up, and actually, we've got mannequins that have, this is what a 10-inch circle looks like. So we want that proof to be as accurate as possible. So that hopefully, like, then the production team is just trying to match the proof, and they don't need the salesperson to say, yeah, it looks good, because the intent and what the customer is expecting has been thoroughly documented on the proof. And if it matches that and the production team approves that, then in theory, it should be good to go.
Right. Makes sense.
I think all of our proofing systems fail sometimes. You just try to set yourself up for success. Our proofing system costs us a lot of money, lots of downtime on the press, idle time, that we're waiting on a designer to prove that final, so like it's expensive the way we go about it, and maybe isn't the most efficient way. And so I like hearing, the way people proof, because maybe ours is not the best way. But Dylan, you know what time it is?
Well, Garrett, do you have any more?
I think that's it, man. I think working
I don't want to cut you off.
Helpful. So. No, I think I already addressed this, but another like hiring hack, I found working interviews to be really helpful. Bring people in for a day, like pay them for their time, make sure it's a good fit with the team.
I don't think you should do it any other way in our industry. I think you need to have them in for a trial period, and you need to see what they're made of before you just hire them for good.
Agreed.
Yeah. And I didn't want to cut you off either. I wasn't trying to be rude, but we have an 11 o'clock thing we got to do. That's in 15 minutes. And I don't want to, I think quick takes are important. So I was not trying to be a dick here.
I understand.
Trying to
be Andrew came out of the woodwork for a second.
Well, Andrew flare up
place. Andy's back now, and we're all good.
Sorry, guys.
Right.
So knowing that you are in beautiful Colorado, quick take number one question is snowboard or skis?
Currently skis. I grew up skiing. I broke my leg skiing when I was in 4th grade. So then I tried snowboarding. And when I was in 8th grade, I broke my arm. So I switched back to skiing, and I guess I'm just waiting to break something else, but
knock on wood. You better knock on something right now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tacos or sushi?
Probably tacos.
I feel like the smart answer for that is always tacos.
I don't know. Some people really love the sushi, so give it a chance.
Sushi tacos.
That's what was said in the LA interview.
In California,
sushi
right?
Tacos, and I was like, I guess
that's got to be a thing.
The smart answer, yeah.
Checkers or chess?
Ooh. I feel like that question, there's a lot of layers to that question, right? I feel like if I say checkers, I'm a simpleton.
Thank you. That's where I'm at.
So chess for sure. I'm right. I'm an intellectual.
Right.
Yep. I've decided that I'm going to be a grandmaster.
Hey.
As far as chess goes.
To us simpletons.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you guys. Let's see. Something random that brings you joy.
This is going to sound weird, but dogs humping is really funny to me.
That's not weird at all. Well, let me elaborate on that. What's better is when it's a tiny dog trying to hump a big dog.
my mother and father-in-law had this chocolate lab for a long time who would hump his bed. Like he had a long time intimate relationship with his little Realtree camo dog bed. And
good thing it was camo.
It just gets me, man. It's just funny. It's kind of perverse, but I can't help but laugh anytime I see a dog humping.
That's the best story ever.
2 presses or 10?
I'd say 2. 10 seems like too many problems. I'd be good with 2.
It's funny. We've asked this question a ton of times. Andy, I think you were there when Mitch answered his 2 presses.
It was, yeah, that was great.
This was the best answer of that because we said 2 presses or 10 presses, and he said 10 presses, and we were like, "Oh, Mr. Big Shot." He's like, "The reason why I say 10 is because I have 19."
And 10 sounds way less of a headache.
There's definitely a sweet spot to this industry. I feel. I mean, I think that there's the cool thing that I love about this industry is there's so many different ways and so many different ways to run a business here, and a lot of creative people doing it 1,000 different ways. But it does seem like there's a sweet spot, and
for sure,
for sanity's sake, unless you're the Custom Ink or Alpha Broder of the world trying to decorate everything for everyone.
Yeah,
I think 2 presses is a good place.
Yeah. Is there anything you're reading, watching, or listening to right now that you really like?
Do you guys remember that book, The Giver?
No.
Sounds familiar.
It was required reading in middle school for a lot of like 90s kids, but I read it for the first time this year and really enjoyed that. I just finished a book called Cheap Land, Colorado, about all these off-gridders living in the San Juan Valley of Colorado, which is super interesting. And I just started watching The Last of Us, that new HBO series, which
it's amazing.
It's awesome, man.
Did you finish episode 3?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Good.
It was good. Heart wrencher.
Yeah, for sure. We had to watch cartoons afterwards.
Yeah, it's heavy, man.
Yeah.
That like I'm like a pseudo prep. I'm a light prepper.
Me too.
But dude, honestly, that episode made me think like I'm not even sure that I'm interested. You know that you have those family and friends who are like, well, if the world goes to shit, I'm not interested in sticking around. And I've always been like, well, it doesn't take the world going to shit to make sense to have a little bit of margin, right? But that episode made me think if the world ends up like that, I don't know if I'm interested in sticking around.
Yeah, but if he wasn't, I don't want to ruin it because what I'm about to say would ruin it. If he wasn't prepared, he wouldn't have met the love of his life.
That's true. But ultimately, like if you're not prepared, like it was like his ultimate purpose was taking care of his love.
Yeah.
And if your love isn't there, if you're just like a rogue prepper holding
if you're
out
by
in
yourself,
the zombie apocalypse,
why bother?
Totally.
So what is a light prepper? Does that mean you have some batteries and like a
He's
flashlight?
Got bug out bags. And just to get out of a situation.
Like 20 cans of soup. I mean, what do you mean?
Like enough that if the power goes out for a couple days, or like all of it, like trucks to the grocery store don't arrive. Like I like to have, when COVID first happened, when the stay-at-home order was issued in March 2020, my wife and I had just torn our kitchen down to studs. Like we had just started a kitchen remodel, and like our house was a construction site. And dude, it was so stressful trying to navigate that in the coming weeks. So after that, I was like, all right, if something like this happens again, I just want that little bit of buffer to take out the initial anxiety of like, where is my food and water going to come from for the next, say, 4 or 5 days? Even that is like, a couple cans of soup.
TC calling you.
I don't know why. I don't know why that's my photo of Tyler, but it's.
I love it. So how
Mr. Vegas. Sorry.
Here's the thing, though. You can be the ultimate prepper, which I guess would include having a defense, but you could be a prepper and you could have food and whatever for 30 days, and then somebody could come to your front door and kill you in an hour and take all that shit.
Not
so
if you're a good prepper.
I'm saying,
that fucker would have been dead before he hit first step on the driveway.
Not true, because it's just you and there's like 20 a group. I think that it comes down to
your arsenal's not good enough.
Yeah, like 10 people show up and they smoke you out of your house or whatever. They set you on fire and they kill you and take your shit. What are you gonna do?
You can't do. It doesn't matter at that point. You're fucking on fire. Like, you're dead. I'm
saying, like, you could have all the shit and then somebody comes and takes it. So you need to have also an army, I think, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. An army is good. A community is better. I think having just like basic things, worst case scenario is really hard to prepare for. Yeah. But there's a lot of things in between normal everyday life and worst case scenario that I think if you have the means, it's like kind of a service to your community of like, I'm not going to be an extra weight on the limited services that are available.
True.
Like I definitely don't want to be at the grocery store throwing elbows at my neighbors to get food if for some reason we're all in that situation.
I think the best way that it was explained to me is that it's such a norm to pay for insurance. Like, you pay for insurance on everything, and you have fucking window insurance on your on your building.
I know where you're going with this.
Why is it not just as much a part of insurance for yourself to have stocks of food, gas cans, a generator, another water source? If you're a gun person, I'm a gun person. Ammo and guns to hunt and protect yourself or whatever. It's like, how is that not the same? You know what I mean? Like,
you're right.
I agree. Dylan, you've got a big storm inbound, right? Like, there's like really cold temperatures
all the time, every single day.
He has every day. Yeah.
But last night, that, man.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is like shit like that happens. Like, luckily we say in New York, like, we have snow and we have winter, but we don't have poisonous things. We don't have hurricanes. We don't have earthquakes, whatever. But still shit happens. Like, we'll have a snowstorm and we'll be without power for a week.
Right.
And it's like, there's all these people that as soon as, nobody complains until the power goes out. And then it's like, oh, I don't have a way to heat my home. I don't have a way to keep things in my refrigerator cool. I just don't have the things I need to live or survive. Like, luckily where I'm at, I'm on town water, but my dad has a well. And like, when he has no power, he has no water. And it's like, just something simple as like, oh, I bought $1,000 generator and I have a hookup on my house and I have extra gas or whatever. It's like, cool. I can like run all the things I need to live and survive for a week while the power's out. It's not that you need to think zombies are showing up or fucking whatever. It's like
Sasquatches.
It's just like a natural disaster could happen or a pandemic could happen. And it's like, cool. Well, I've got 2 years of canned goods. Or I've got, dry food in case.
Good to know. Happens. Good to know. I'll come take that shit. I'll kill you and take your 2 years of.
Dude, you wouldn't make it even close.
Okay, whatever. Me and Joe come take that shit.
Okay.
Garrett, this has been one of my all-time favorite episodes. I have to say, your questions are bomb.
And your microphone.
Thank you. Ooh.
And your inkwall you built there last night after you decided the background. I know, like that's a big deal. Hey. We appreciate that. Final question.
I appreciate you guys.
Oh, well, thank you.
The show's great, man. I appreciate what you guys do for the industry and really have enjoyed it. So thank you guys for doing this.
Thank you.
Yeah, kisses. What is for dinner?
Sushi tacos.
Do you guys sushi tacos? Spot on. I think tonight is some variation of lasagna, but my wife doesn't eat gluten, dairy, soy, or nightshade. So when I say lasagna, it's like, I don't think that you guys would, if you saw what it was, it wouldn't look like lasagna to you. Because So it'll be interesting.
I've dealt with that for forever, and I know your pain. And I don't know if you're into that stuff, but like I fully get it.
You know what, man? I think ultimately it's benefited me. A lot of the, like eating less inflammatory foods is probably good for me, and it's only by association. So,
but when
it's the best, but
when you grow up and you in a household that's like, okay, we're having meat and potato every night for dinner, or we're having spaghetti and meatballs or whatever, and then you go to having spaghetti squash and a meatball that has no gluten in it, you're like, I'd rather not at all. I'd rather not eat this.
I love spaghetti squash, I gotta say.
Okay, well,
I've adapted well, but I feel your pain, dude. Yeah,
it's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not.
Well, that sounds delicious. And
I should have said pizza.
I'd rather eat fucking wet cardboard.
thanks again for making this happen. I know the first time didn't work out, and
For sure.
but you were really flexible.
We're really, really happy we made this happen. Yeah, it was a great episode. Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
totally.
man. I appreciate you guys. Keep up the good work, and let's do this again.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Have a good day.
Cheers.
Cool.